Hi, it's Gav.Forager in the garden again. Misty Rabbit's directing today, so she'll be staying in the background. As I mentioned last time, I just want to take you through some of the more common toxic or poisonous plants that you might find in the garden today. It's not very many of them though, so let's get started. So let's start down here with Heterohelix or common ivy. It can make you quite ill if you eat it. It could lead to breathing difficulties if you eat a lot of it. And it can give you contact dermatitis on your skin. Just below that we have Euphorbia peplus. Again, spreads like wildfire, this stuff. It can make you ill if you eat it, and again can cause contact dermatitis on your skin. Now last time I mentioned a plant called Lesser celandine and showed you the leaves. I've mowed it since then, so I can't show you it, but it would have flowered by now, which would have made the whole plant toxic. Let's move on a little bit. Say hello to Misty as we go past. I'm not going to talk about decorative cultivated plants like snowdrops and the ubiquitous bluebells. Just don't eat cultivated decorative plants. It's easier to be on the safe side. So down here in the grass somewhere, usually quite difficult to spot. There's some. This is Ranunculus repens, also known as creeping buttercup. One of the Ranunculus family, which means it's fairly safe to say it's going to be toxic, and this in particular is quite toxic and harmful. Apparently it can be eaten after cooking, but it's not worth the effort, and who knows when you've cooked it enough to make it safe, so not worth the risk in my opinion. Let's move on to another plant I mentioned last time, which I'm pretty sure this is going to grow into a borage plant. The flowers, there's some flower buds just popping up there, are going to be edible, also known as starflower, but the leaves are not and can be quite toxic to the liver, so best to avoid every other part of the plant. I think that's just about it for the toxic plants in the garden. Also, don't eat ladybirds. But yeah, toxic plants, all of these plants that I've mentioned today, they are toxic, but you would have to eat really, really large quantities of them to do you any harm. So, accidentally eating a leaf or two, don't panic about it. It's not the end of the world. Keep an eye on your symptoms, and if it all starts going pear-shaped, call the doctors. That was a quick one, so thanks for tuning in. Next time we'll talk about potentially medicinal plants around the garden. See you soon. Just as a little additional note, I have heard it mentioned, and people often ask, if animals eat these plants, why can't we? Well, animals have a completely different digestive system and a completely different metabolism, so it is definitely not safe to copy if animals are eating plants. That reasoning does not follow. Stay safe.